Let's go to Anna in Warwickshire. Welcome to the show, Anna. What would you like to ask?
Thank you very much. Good morning. Joe, my question for you. It's really great that your party promotes women's rights. So please, can you tell me what a woman is?
Well, I know I'm a woman, and I think we know what we are, and I think all women are important, and their rights need to be protected, whether they are black, Asian, white, whether they are gay or straight or bi, whether they have a very privileged upbringing or they don't have much money, whether they are cis or trans, whether they have a disability. Well, we are all important in all of those different ways.
So how can you tell what a woman is?
Well, I'm just sort of trying to understand, what you're getting at. I think we know when we engage with each other, when we know if we are a woman, right? And I can tell you that I am, right? So, and we're not going to, start a scenario where we go and perform inspections on people, are we?
No. What if a man wears a dress to work twice a week? Is he a woman?
Not necessarily.
But could he be?
Well, I think people can understand their own identity, and I think it's right to respect people in terms of their gender identity, and so that's for them to say.
If you dress as a woman twice a week to go to work, do you count whose gender pay gap? Do you count as a woman for the gender pay or a man?
Well, clearly, in terms of the gender pay gap, members of staff will identify their gender in company records to HR typically, and the company will then produce the statistics accordingly.
Anna, can I explain why this has become a talking point within the Liberal Democrat campaign? It's because you've promised complete reform of the Gender Recognition Act and effectively said you will remove the need for medical tests and feeds, that individuals will be able to self-identify. Now, to
be honest, largely can currently, and I think that this formalises that, and it removes what are existing barriers that end up creating discrimination on a very vulnerable group of people.
And whilst we acknowledge that there is a group of people who are certainly vulnerable, need support and need certain protections, there is a significant body of women who feel that they will be deprived of safe spaces. Would you like to pick up on that point? Anna?
Obviously, we respect people and everyone has a right to express themselves, and people's choice of partner, spouse, clothing should not be affected by their sex in any way. But under self-ID, what's to stop a male sex offender walking into the changing room and say, do you know what, today I identify as a woman? Should we be kind and let him?
So, in a sense, I've gone into gym changing rooms, right? And I've never been asked for a certificate, right? I've never been asked. And so that's not what you currently have right now. If anybody goes into a changing room and is acting in a way that is in any way kind of predatory or antisocial, then the institution, the gym, or wherever it is, the swimming pool, should be able to take action on that basis. But what has happened?
It's a safeguard, isn't it, Joe? But at the moment, we have women's spaces as a safeguard from men, don't we?
But of course. I was just going to say, so the way in which this debate plays out, I've heard from people who are women who might be women who look more masculine, women who might dress in a particular way, who have found over the last months and years with the way that this debate has been playing out, that they have suddenly, in a way that they hadn't before, been challenged just for being in the women's loos, for washing their hands at the sink and been challenged. And so I think we get into a very dangerous territory if we start assuming that people...
If we're leaving up into women to have to police their own spaces, that's why it's a difficult issue, isn't it? Conflicting, right, we have women's spaces as a safeguard from men because we know men murder women, men rape women, upskirting just become a crime, people put cameras in changing rooms. That's why we have these women's spaces. And the feelings of a small number of people do not in any way reduce the threat to men. So that's why we need to think and discuss and talk openly about it. And that's what I'm asking you. Whereas if we go straight for the reforms that you're suggesting, and people like me are given abuse for even talking about this, saying, look, we're not, even if every single trans person in the world has, is fantastic and wonderful and kind and brilliant, that does not reduce the threat from men in any way.
And I suppose the argument, if you like, is on what's the best way to provide that protection, because
at the moment we're just making all women's toilets intended for unisex toilets. That's not a solution.
I'm going to let Jo Swinson answer that, and then no, don't apologise, Anna. I hear the passion in your voice, and then we're going to have to move it on, only to get on to other subjects.
I mean, as I say, at the moment, I've never been asked for a certificate to prove my gender when I've been accessing any women's spaces, and so it's not as if that is the way that we're going to resolve this issue. It's not as if with the law at the moment that it's like, well, that's fine, every time you go to the loo you have to like swipe some card that is related to your birth certificate, right? That's not the society we have, and frankly it's not one that I think any of us want. So we need to make sure that there are proper protections in place, and obviously against I mean, at the moment, if a man wants to go into women's space in a changing room or whatever, I mean, we've all seen the male operatives on duty go in with a bucket and be cleaning the loos, right? So it's, if there's people who want to act in that way, they should absolutely be dealt with. And I just don't buy the idea that we need to further marginalise a group of vulnerable people, that actually gives us any further protection. I don't think it is the right way to deal with the genuine concerns you raise.
Thank you very much. You've also said you want all schools to introduce gender neutral uniform. Does that apply to religious schools as well?
I just think, I mean, why should we be forcing children into a particular requirement because
a headscarf is not gender neutral?
Look, it's not about saying you cannot wear a headscarf. It's about saying you cannot say that only one gender can wear that. Right, so you have a uniform policy.
But if a girl wanted to turn up at a school without a headscarf, but the school policy was all girls must wear a headscarf, that would be problematic for you, would it?
Well, I think children should have choices.
Okay.
I think children should be able to express themselves, and if that is, if they choose to do that, then that's absolutely fine. And if they want to wear trousers, they want to wear a skirt, it should be up to them.